Good evening, everyone. It's Matthew Allen speaking here. Thank you ever so much for attending this evening. There should be a box on the right-hand side that allows you to say whether you can hear me or not. So, and it should allow you to just pop your hand up. So if you could just click that button for me, just so I can make sure that I am being heard. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Paul. Brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to run you through EstimatorXpress and PlansXpress. Okay, and this is the takeoff edition, so there won't be any, as you would say, any design aspects with this. This is purely takeoff. If you were given a plan, PDF, JPEG, bitmap option from your client. Okay, so what would happen is when you actually turn on your planning software, you're going to have an option that says import for scan and trace. Okay, so what I would do is I'd select whether it's going to be a PDF, a JPEG, CAD image, bitmap, DWG, DXF, click next. And then what I would do is I'd then start selecting my relevant job. So I'm just going to go sample drawing for the PlansXpress import. I'm going to click open. Then the option I'm going to get in front of me is going to be the loading option. So this is the plan that I'm going to be doing today. So it's going to be a lean-to here against the house. Now, this information up at the top here, page 1 of 1 is purely because PDFs come in all shapes and sizes. Really, you can have 1 page, you can have 50 pages. Really depends. So you just have to select the relevant page that you want. It's usually existing and proposed. That way, then you can do the right takeoff. All right. And then import quality. This is based on the strength of your graphics card more than anything else. Now, I'm running a simple Acer laptop, so I can run it as the better. Okay. Click finish. And then the software down in the bottom left-hand corner, it's got a command window. It's just asking me to give the first corner point. Just going to click left. I'm going to drag that all the way up to the top, and it's going to pop that one into place. Okay, and then my plan loads up in front of me. What I want to do from here is just set the scale correctly. All right, because I don't know whether the scale is going to be correct or not. So what you want to do is you want to find a dimension on the page, and you want to set your dimension and your scale by that. So to go up to do that, you've got measure image scale at the top of the screen. You can click that there. And then what the software is actually telling you in the bottom left-hand corner is use the image. Okay, so select the image. This is going to be this plan that I've got here. Give the first points. So I just want to click. I'll go in a little bit closer. Click once on this side. Holding shift, I'm going to keep that line straight, and then I'm going to click again here. It's going to ask me what the distance is. I know that's going to be 1800. So I can, oh, let me just put my numbers lock on. Terribly sorry. Click OK, and that's going to then grow into shape, so I know my scale is going to be correct. All right. Now, there are options for you to be able to ask questions at any time, so please just, I think it should be a pencil. In the right hand, it might be a pencil, it could be a keyboard, that allows you to actually write in any questions that you may want to ask me about the software. Please don't hesitate to just write as much as you want in there and ask as many questions as you can. The more questions you have, the better the demonstration is going to be. All right. Now, what we offer with the software is something what we like to follow as best practice. Okay, like you would do on site. Okay, but to take off this software, as I can't actually grab anything at the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to my drawing and annotation tab, and then I'm going to use some construction lines. Okay, the construction lines allows me to actually put out a grid, okay, that I can currently follow. Now, the reason I'm going on the outside of the house as well is because I want to put this wall here. We're not going to be building that wall, okay, but it is going to have some work done to it, so plastering, okay, dot and dab, something like that, that we can actually estimate for as well, okay. Because that is something that we would absolutely do to that back wall unless they wanted to have some sort of rustic feel to it. And then we've got vertical as well. Okay, going to pop those into place as well. So if I right click, I can get rid of those lines now. And if I zoom back out, what you can now see is that there's quite a lot of lines in there now. This isn't estimated. It's just allowing me to start grabbing this information. So now you can see it's dashed. Do it with a third, do it with the bottom line as well. Okay. Now, so we can start estimating. I go to the architectural tab at the top of the screen on the top left-hand corner. Now we've got external walls, internal walls, feature masonry, doors, windows, stairs, flooring, and so on. Okay. The reason why we have this line going from left to right is so that essentially you're almost going through a tick list of what you would be estimating for when you're going through your lines. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to do my external wall. So if I click this drop-down box, because the shape does change. Okay. This drop-down box here, you can start seeing the types of walls that we can start doing. So this isn't just a straightforward brick and block cavity wall. You can go with brick in ICF, brick in SIPs, sorry. Your rendered ICF, brick and block, block and block with a render as well, stone, cladding, internal timber frame as well, depending on what the build's going to be like. All right. So what I want to do is I want to select brick and block cavity wall, and then I can start seeing more options. So we've got your generic heights in there, your 2.4, your 2.5. Okay, but then on the right-hand side, you're going to be able to see something called single-story and multi-story. Okay, even for the two same heights, you've got different ones. Now, the difference between the two is that a multi-story is going to allow for a 225 mil joist beam. Okay, so that's what's going to add to the height there, just in case you are going to be doing a multi-floor and a multi-story extension. But for this one, I'm just going to be doing a single-story. So I'm just going to click that one there. So that's going to be about 2.4, 2.3 to the ceiling height of the extension. Once this is loaded into place, we then have the dimensions wizard. So you're going to see this crop up in the software a lot. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show the tech tips and show the tech labels, not teaching you how to suck eggs. All right. You know the building game, but every time you click a box, it's going to tell you in the right-hand corner what you're changing. Now, a lot of this is going to be second nature to you. However, with the software being quite alien to you from the very beginning, it's quite nice to have this just so you know exactly why we have the dimensions in these parts. All right. The software does follow building regulation standard as well. So I can click next. We've got our foundation details. So we understand that if you're going to be building a wall, no doubt there's going to be a foundation with it. Okay. So we've got 0.9 meters deep, 0.6 meters wide. All right. So your standard calculated foundation depth. Now, the reason why the software wants to know this is because what it's going to do is going to calculate the spoil coming out of the ground, all right, in cubic meters, so it can calculate how many skips you're going to need over the course of the job. All right. Now, it's then going to ask you about the depth of your concrete. Now, it's going to be anywhere between 400 to 600. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to change that to 600. Okay. Now, it doesn't really matter how much concrete I put in there. Well, it really does, just cost purposes and building regulation, but you want to make sure that this is correct for yourself. Okay. And a couple of more questions. Is this going to be plank and strut excavation? So are you going to be supporting it either side? Now, at 900 mil, don't legally have to, so I can say no. But again, best practice within your company, you might want to go, actually, I want to just support it just in case. And then you've got the bulking of the excavated material, okay, at 1.5. Now, when I go back to actually the cubic meterage of soil coming out of the ground, okay, the software is actually going to expand that by half because it understands that soil coming out of the ground is going to grow in size. Okay, so it's going to take up more space when it comes to your skip, so it can calculate it accurately for you. You can change this bulking factor. It's entirely up to you. All right, you're going to see it when we're going to be doing any knock-throughs or anything like that. If I wanted to do any structural openings, okay, what you're going to be looking at is the fact that it's going to have a bulking factor of 2 because concrete actually takes up a lot more space in the, in a skip. All right, so bear with me one moment.
Reed, can you open the door for Andy?
Terribly sorry about that. So what you're looking at is you've got your footing details now. Okay, so your splash course depth, brickwork depth below splash course, height of the blockwork to the outer leaf, cavity width, cavity fill depth below the top of the DPC, height of the blockwork to the inner leaf, height of the trench blocks as well. And then, is the main wall to be insulated? Is there a separate DPC? Yes or no? So essentially what you are looking at, all right, is that the software is not going to allow you to forget anything when you're doing your footings, your walls, your foundations as well. All right. Then last but not least, are you going to be plastering? Are you going to be decorating? All right. Once I'm finished with that, all I have to do is just then start tracing over my walls. So I can click that corner there and I can start going around. If you can see that arrow pointing up, that's actually indicating the external wall line. Okay, so we want that to be on the outside so we can calculate the correct amount of bricks. Okay, so we can start going around this. We can put that one in there like that. So that's all going to be set up and ready to go. And if I wanted to see the views in 3D, what I can do is I can start seeing the 3D preview, and you are going to start seeing a nice breakdown of the wall that we are building up. Okay. Going from there, I then want to put this back wall into place. So I'm just going to place another wall in, but this time the wall's actually on the wrong side. Okay, so if I wanted to change that, if it ever does happen, all you've got to do is just go from the justification, change that to the center or to the right, so you can make sure that the wall's going to be on the right side. And you can change the external side as well, which I want to do this time. Now, we're not going to be building this wall, okay, but it is going to have work done to it, as I said earlier on. So what I want to do this time is just set this wall as non-estimated. And to do that, I just middle mouse click over that wall and just click set item as non-estimated. All right, it's going to ask me to confirm that. And once I do, the information, as you can see, the hash lines, that's all going to go clear on this wall. So to indicate that you've actually got no information into that wall. All right. Once you're happy with that, you can then start going on to different parts of the estimate as well. Okay, so if I want to start putting my floor in it, terribly sorry, that is my dog barking in the background. I will try and put her outside. 1 second. Sorry about that. I do apologize. So we can do the architectural tab. Okay, and this time we're going to be starting to look at flooring. So we've got a suspended floor in there, basement floors, beam and block flooring, raft and toe as well. Okay, your screeding. This time I just want to choose a floor slab, an extension slab, and it's going to be reinforced. All right, select that reinforced slab. It's going to go into the thickness of the sand blinding, thickness of the sub base, thickness of the slab itself. Is there a damp-proof membrane? Yes or no? What's the overlap of that damp-proof membrane? Okay. Is there insulation to the underside of the slab? Is there reinforcement to the bottom? Reinforcement to the top? Is it power float finish? These, as you can see, are all yes/no questions. Okay. Then last but not least, the plant required for the concrete slab. Now, the software is actually going to pre-fill this in for you. It's just going to calculate by how large the slab is, how many days it's going to take you to actually do. Now, a slab this size is only going to take 1 day, so I can just click finish. And then what I would do is I would just zoom in, just click the corners, and then I can start moving this line all the way down to the bottom. It's going to fill it in with a couple of nice pink triangles. You can change the colors if you want, but it's no big deal if it's a little bit of pink. And then we can just change and put in that place perimeter of insulation. Click yes. It's going to show us the depth. And then what I can do is I can just start clicking around the perimeter as it is. A perimeter. Okay. Pop that there. And then once we've done that, we've got our floor in place. I'm going to place an internal wall as well. So if I drop down the internal block wall, then we've got internal cavity, block wall, wooden stud, metal stud partition. Okay, ICF walls, SIPS walls. Okay, and we can just do foundations only if we wanted to. All right. Going to go with the metal stud partition at 2.4 meters high. Again, like the walls that we have here. So we've got the height, the distance of the studding centers at 600 mil. You can change that to 400 mil if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. The width of the wall at 100 mil. So that's your building reg standard again. Clicking next. It's going to ask you about number of layers of plasterboard to each side. So you can say whether you're going to have 1 or 2, and whether you want to soundproof anything, just in case you are going to be doing any apartments for that. Are you going to be plastering? Are you going to be decorating both sides? Yes, we are. Once I'm happy with that, I can just click that and pop that internal wall in. Do I want to allow for any fixing channels or plates? I'm just going to go no for the now. All right. So we're slowly building up our extension now. What I can do is I can start dropping in my doors. Okay. Now under the doors tab, we have a company that we actually work with, Crystal Direct. They are a PVCU manufacturer. They actually supply Saint-Gobain. Okay, or Saint-Gobain, however you pronounce it. And probably most of your actual merchants that are around your local area as well. They do a lot of build-based, trade point. Okay, so you might be using their windows without even knowing it, to be fair. So what we can do is we can help you cut out the middle merchant, okay, and go to them direct, and they'll give you better discounts when you're on your windows and doors and that. All right. Under your bifold doors, you do have the likes of aluminium, hardwood, softwood, PVCU, depending on the aesthetic of the house and what the client wants, if you are going to be supplying it for them. But for the internal doors, if I go to the internal, we've got typical panel doors. We've got our fire doors in there as well. That's your standard hour-long door, okay, to be estimated. But under the typical panel door, we've got into studding and into block work. The main change in this is actually the with studding, it's not going to calculate a lintel. With block work, it is. All right. So pop it into studding, we've got the height, the width of the door. We've then got the reveal and jam details, plastering and threshold details, and the decoration specification. All right, I can drop that door in there. All right, and I can say which way I want this to swing. We've then got the correct doors into blockwork this time. We can then go into the fixing details, reveal and jam details, plastering and threshold details, and the decoration specification. But this time what I want to do is I want to drop them into my wall. All right. As you can see, we are building this up nice and fast. With practice, speed does come. Okay. Now what I want to do is I just want to drop in a window at the back and a door at the front. Okay, or vice versa, sorry. So what I want to do is first off, I want to go to the doors. I'll show you how Crystal Direct actually works. So if I go for a Crystal Direct patio door, I can select that and a selection comes up in front of me. What they will do is they will manufacture the exact door that you want with the specification needed, okay, and they will send it to that site for you within 5 days, depending on how long or how fast you want it. All right, so if I go with width, I need this to be 1800. If I needed it to have a certain color, I can say, right, okay, then I need it to be, say, gray. I can select that one there, select the door, choose the cavity because they are going to provide me cavity closers, lintels. It's going to do all of it. Okay, it's going to confirm the height and the width, the plastering and threshold details, decoration specification, and I can drop that one into play as well. And if I zoom in, what I can do is I can actually start saying which way I want the doors to slide again. All right. Going from there, we then have our window. So architectural, go to the window, Crystal Direct, PVCU windows. And then again, I've got my 1800 wide. So I've got my width. I've got my height. I've got my U value. I've got my color as gray again. Before you know it, I've got my exact window. I'm going to select this one here, select that window, select the cavity. It's confirming the height and width. It's confirming the height as well from the top of DPC. Okay, just confirm that you have got the right height on your wall. All right. Clicking next, plaster and sill details, decoration specification, and I can drop that into place. All right. Andy, can you do me a favor and open up the front door for Josh, please? Okay, so once we have that here, if I go to views in 3D preview, I can then start seeing the 3D breakdown, including how the window is gray of the extension so far. As you can see, this is a lean-to extension. I haven't done anything to do with the gables yet, only because the software is actually going to pre-calculate all that for me. All right, so I'm just going to go to architectural now, and then I'm going to start doing the roof. Okay, so if I hit that drop-down box, we've got a cut roof or a truss roof, flat roof, SIPS roof as well. Okay, so if I select a cut roof, we've then got a typical degree of pitch. So you've got 30 degree, 45 degree, 40, depending on what it's going to be. Okay, just going to select a 35 degree pitch, but I can change that if I wanted to say 32. It's entirely up to you, or dependent on the actual plan itself. Okay, and you can go from there. All right. The software is going to ask you about different types of roofs as well. So it might just ask you about the height of the gable to the underside of a barn hip. Okay, you might not be actually building one of these, but if you aren't, you can just ignore that calculation. Okay, then you've also got the typical thickness of a roof. Going from there, you've got the soffit width of the gables, the soffit width of the eaves. As you can see, this is actually picking up building regulation standard. All right. The timber and roof strap detail, so the spacing of the joist noggins, gable straps at the joist level centers, width of the rafters, length of the gable noggins as well. Okay. Next, you're looking at the rafter centers, so they're being 400 mil apart. Joist centers as well. Length of each hip corner tie, either barge boards to the gables, either E-fascia boards as well. Okay, the software is going to be picking up on guttering details for you also, so it's going to calculate the guttering for the roof as well. All right. And then your tiling and insulation information. So if you are working north of the border, okay, you can see that we have the option of being able to cover the roof and sarking board, but then we also have the options of being able to sand and cement the point ridges or proprietary ridge fixing systems. And that goes for verges as well and hips. All right. And last but not least, are you priming, are you decorating the fascias and soffits? Now, you can say yes or no to this. It's usually UPVC, so it's going to be a no. That's why it's already saying no. All right. But in the estimating software, when you do create an estimate, the software does ask you what are you going to be using for your fascias and soffits, okay, whether it's going to be UPVC or softwood. Once you're happy with that, you then get to select the type of roof that you're going to be doing. So you've got the lean-to roof, you've got an apex roof with a barn hip, hipped roof, apex roof, lean-to roof with a hip end as well. So depending on what the kind of roof you're going to be doing, you can start merging some of them together as well. So you actually start making a nice, faster version of your actual roof as well. Okay, but once you click OK, just click on the wall that you want to start building the roof from, and then it's always width by length. And then once I've done that, the software is going to then fill in the roof for me, which is nice. Do I want to consider a flat ceiling, vaulted ceiling, purlins and binders at this stage? And if I select yes, okay, what I can do is I can place an area of flat ceiling, confirming the joist centers, confirming the height of the ceiling as well. And then what I can do is I can actually start putting in the flat ceiling for myself. Okay, so I can draw that into place. All right, and then if I want to do vaulted ceiling, I can click yes, confirm the rafters, the width of the rafters as well. Am I going to be plastering and decorating? Am I going to be insulating the roof also? Oh, terribly sorry. And then what I can do is I can indicate the eaves line. So I know that's going to be my eaves line. And then essentially I just start filling in where I want my vaulted ceiling to be as well. Now, as you can see, we've got a little bit of texture in there to show that we have got a vaulted ceiling. Why we don't have one for a flat roof, I don't know, but that is being changed. Don't worry. Okay. So I don't need to do any other more vaulted ceilings. I'm not going to worry about purlins or binders at this stage and rainwater pipes. All right. But if I start going to my views in 3D, my 3D preview, what you can now see is that the software has pre-populated that gable in for me. Okay, we have our roof going all the way along, and then we do have a vaulted ceiling and a flat ceiling. You can't see it right now, but I can change the view, and oh Christ, that's not going to show you it either. Okay, but what you can see now is that a certain shade of white is showing that that's going to be bolted this side, and that's going to be flat that side as well. All right, you can go on to further this takeoff. You can start doing certain electrics depending on how far and how into detail you want to go. Okay, and you do have your plumbing as well. Plumbing does look a lot smaller than electrical, don't get me wrong, but when you start going into your plumbing, it then starts growing a whole lot further. So you can start seeing how these calculators are building up. All right, with your structural openings and steel work, you do have your fabricated steel posts and your steel beams, and as you can see, we've got quite a few in there. We are working with structural engineers to add in more, but to be fair, the steels that you're probably working with at the moment are probably going to be found in here, to be honest. All right, and you can add those into place. And that back wall that I want to actually plaster and decorate, I want to do a bit of dot and dabbing. What I can do is I can say plastering here, and then I can just do, basic plastering to walls. Okay, typical wall to be plastered. And what we've got here is we've got a plaster, we've got our existing wall. I don't think I selected the one with the dot and dab. Okay, so if I go plastering to walls, typical room plastering and insulating. Okay. No, I'm terribly sorry. I can't really find the one with dot and dab now. Okay, let's have a look here. Okay. That could be the case. No, terribly sorry. I can't find the one with the dot and dab. But what I'm going to do is just for the sake of it, I'm just going to go basic skimming to the walls, small area of boarding. Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, now I found my plaster dab. The last one. Typical. So we've got our plaster dabbing in there, so you know you're going to be doing a bit of dot and dab as well. All right. Click finish, and all you've got to then do is just select the wall that you're going to be doing. Okay, so I'm just going to click this wall, and then it's just going to ask me to just stamp this on the side there. So it's as if you've actually just written plasterboard and skimmed walls on your plan, just to confirm that you have estimated it. All right. Then what I want to do is I just want to save this. Okay, click save. And then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be able to start opening this up into my estimating software. Before I do that, does anybody have any questions? Okay, no questions. What I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to now import that job into EstimatorXpress. I'm going to show you how you can change your prices in the software as well. Okay, and then we're going to be able to go through the actual estimate itself. All right, so this is now EstimatorXpress. All right. Oh, we do have a question. Terribly sorry, 1 moment. Can you get a copy of the demonstration? Absolutely, I am recording this. Okay, so if you do have to go away and do anything, that's absolutely fine. You can get sent this. All right. I hope that helps, Russell. Or if you're looking at a trial, then absolutely we can send you a trial also. All right, brilliant. So, going with the estimating software. All right. So first off, you're going to be seeing a page that looks like this. We're actually at our final stages of bringing the software completely out of Excel at the moment. So our closest competitors that are still actually piggybacking off of Excel using Office, they're still going to be finding a lot of their crashing errors. So this is what makes us unique. This is what makes us different. All right. So first off, my settings, very self-explanatory. Okay. Profit and inflation. It's what you want to set as your default profit across your building company. Okay. So you've got labor, plant, material, subcontractor, and sundry items. The software is going to be broken down into these 5 sections. Okay. And then you've got inflation as well, because we do appreciate you may win a job now, and by the time you end it, okay, materials have gone up in price. It's cost you a little bit out of your own pocket. Okay, we want to make sure that that no longer happens. We want to make sure that this is going to be a business expense and not a personal one. Also, with the way that merchants are actually stockpiling materials at the moment, in the next few weeks, there might be a spike in material cost, which a lot of people are expecting. Okay, so we want to make sure that with those that are actually using our software, that this is definitely in play at the moment. All right, going from there, we then start going into the price books. Okay, so the software is actually going to be breaking the software down into those 5 sections. Okay, the job down to those 5 sections, sorry. And every EstimatorXpress in the UK has the master price book. So you're going to be able to see labor, material, plant, subcontractor, and sundry items. If I go to labor, this is the one thing that we do ask you to change. Okay, only because we can track materials up and down the country for you. Okay, we can even go to your local merchants as well. All right. However, what we cannot do is track tradesmen. Now, we speak to the Federation of Master Builders, the Guild of Master Craftsmen. All right, we speak to tradesmen actually using the software, asking them what they are earning an hour a day, and still, no matter how many questions we ask, we're never going to get the accurate cost. All right, so we just ask you to go in here, fill in this information, and if you say you had a joiner in there, I know a joiner, he's £260 a day. Okay, so I can double click that there, and what I can do is I can change that to £32.50 an hour, which is 260 divided by 8. All right, once I'm happy with that, I can click OK. That's now £32.50, but what the software's also doing for me is just time stamping the last time I've agreed that cost with my my tradesman. All right, so it's going to constantly time stamp it for you. I appreciate this is a lot of blue to look at as well. So if I go to the filters tab at the top of the screen and go to the highlight selected line, you're going to see the line highlighted for yourself as well. All right, it's the exact same look for the materials. We've got 2 drop-down boxes at the top of the screen. If I just drop down the bottom one and go to material, you're going to have access to all the materials in the, well, essentially all the most used materials in the UK. All right, so this is going to be, you're looking at about 3,500 materials from the very beginning, and you're going to have their list price, any discounts that you have agreed with your merchants in there, okay, how you buy them in, whether it's each per meter square, their purchase cost, which would be different from their list price if you've got a discount, okay, the supplier, all right, their wastage factor. Now, what the software is going to do is going to calculate automatically for you a 7.5% wastage. You can change that if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But for every 100 bricks that you need, the software is going to order 7.5 more. All right. The last time you actually updated the prices, all right, what the type of material they are, whether it's an aggregate or not, what the VAT stamp is on it, and then their product code as well. So when it comes to ordering your materials, all right, it becomes a whole lot faster because the software is going to calculate and put all this information together. All right. You can go to individual materials. So I've got the types up at the top here. So if I wanted to see, say, my blocks, I can start seeing that I've got my thermalites in there. I've got my Celcom blocks. Okay. So I definitely know that I've got the relevant materials that I'm going to be dealing with on a regular basis in my software. All right. If you want to create your own material, if you know that you're going to get a similar block to this, but you get from a different merchant, that's and it's a very good deal. Okay, so we're saying that it's currently £53.50 for a square meter of thermalite blocks. What I can do is I can go right, I can select new resource, and I can create my own material. All right. Then last but not least, you've got plant. Okay, so what we're going to be looking at you for and what we're going to help you estimate for are the likes of your use of the likes of cherry pickers, JCBs, mini diggers. You've also got your dust sheets, wheelbarrows. Okay, if I scroll down a little bit further, your shovels as well. We do appreciate that there are a lot of overheads as a business owner. So every time something breaks on site, it's your job to provide it, unfortunately. So yeah, we want to make sure that you are going to be charging for these things. Now, it's not going to charge 12 quid on top of every job for a new shovel. Okay, you might end up buying a new shovel every job because you might have somebody that's quite a pain on site. But we are making sure that we are giving you a cost for that, okay, as an overhead. And that doesn't come up when you find a quote. So it's not going to say, oh, by the way, charging you for a shovel. It's not going to come up in your quote. All right. Going down a little bit further, you then start looking at things that will cost money, absolutely. So you're looking at portable toilets, site cabins, steel containers, any delivery costs, daily parking fees, congestion charges. Okay, you've got your 20-ton tippers as well. All right. You've got mileage in there also, just in case you have to travel 40 miles to get to work. Because you have somebody that appreciates your work, but you know you're going to have to drive far to get there. You want to make sure that your client's actually paying for this. All right. Closing that, then what we can do is we can start importing that job that we're working with. All right. Terribly sorry about the flickering. I am running an old version of Excel. All right. So that's why it's got a little bit of conflict. But as I said, we are taking it out of Office. That's going to be gone soon. All right. So creating a new estimate, I want to go into My Estimates at the top of the screen. And what you're going to do is you're going to have a breakdown of all your materials in front of you, not your materials, or all your jobs in front of you. So you're going to have the name of your job on the left-hand side. The job number, it's currently following Excel at the moment, so it's going to go until Excel finishes. Description of the job, whether it's an extension, refurbishment, new build house. The cost excluding profit and VAT. The cost including profit but excluding VAT. Any comments about the job? We do appreciate estimating happens late into the day, late into the evening. So you want to make sure that you leave yourself a little note so the next time you turn on the software, you can check whether you have made any mistakes or not. All right. The last time that you actually opened up the job as well, the last time the bar chart was updated, and the status of the job as well, whether it's an estimate in progress, awaiting customer reply, or an unsuccessful estimate. All right. The handiness of this last column with all the other information that you've actually provided is that with the drop-down box at the top of the screen, you can click awaiting customer reply, and you can chase up all the clients that you kind of chase, well, that haven't heard back from you yet. Okay, you haven't heard back from yet. What you can also see is completed against unsuccessful. So if I went to completed and I saw nothing but extensions, but then I went to unsuccessful and I saw, okay, say nothing but refurbishments, what I can do is, as a business owner, I can see that I'm making more money estimating for extensions. Okay, so that's where I want my time spent, is where I'm making money. And you can do this after a few months of using the software, which will be very handy for yourself. All right, what I want to do now is I want to go to New Estimate at the top of the screen. And I want to look at which version I'm going to be using. Now, buying the two packages together, you get access to Quick Quote. Okay, so this is going to give you your templates for lean-to extensions, single-story extension with a roof light, okay, multi-story wraparound extensions as well. Apartments, houses, flats, bungalows, garages. We have a whole lot of templates in there for you to use from the very beginning, allowing you to estimate very quickly. All right. Going to the Quick Quote Custom Estimate using the same calculators, but what you would be doing this time is essentially just, you'd have the plan manually in front of you, and you'd say, okay, then this wall is going to be X meters long, and then essentially you would just go calculator by calculator saying, okay, this is going to be the walls, this is going to be the roof, this is going to be the internal walls, this is going to be the flooring, and so on. All right. Plans Express import for the rapid takeoff. Okay. This is for your more bespoke jobs. All right. The Quick Quote standard job template, that's going to cover probably about 90% of your work. All right. Which is very handy. However, Not every job is the same, as you'll know. And what this software allows you to do is start taking on those jobs that you'd like to estimate for, but you don't really have the confidence of doing yet. Okay, because what you can do is you can visually see everything that the architect's written down, visually building in front of you, so you know you're estimating it correctly. All right, and this allows you to do unique triangular extensions, more bespoke glass work as well. This is what PlanXpress allows you to work with. Okay, and that's what I've shown you today. And then you've got the custom estimate using estimating calculators. We've been on the market. Well, the gentleman that actually created the software has been running with HBXL for about 25 years. We've been selling the software for 19. All right, so we've been on the market a very long time. We've gone through the highs and lows of crashes, financial crashes as well. So you know we're going to stand the test of time. We're not going to disappear overnight. All right, and yes, if you buy the software, it is a lifetime license. Okay, so after 12 months, what we do is we ask you if you want your support and updates to continue. All right, this is the only time that we ask for more money. All right, as a company. But what this will allow is for you to get all brand new calculators being added into the software for free. Well, not for free, essentially. Continued training. Okay, because what we will do is we'll actually train you in the software, and any questions that you do have, all you've got to do is just give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help. All right, but what that also allows you to do as well is that any problems that you might have with the software, if you want to transfer it from one computer to another, if you're struggling with a difficult job and you want help with that, we're just on the phone, and we're more than happy to help you. All right, and that works out at $13.99 a month ex-VAT. All right. So that's the only ongoing cost, and that's after 12 months. That's already built in to your original purchase, all right? But then ongoing after 12 months, only if you want it. If you don't want it, don't worry, the software's going to work anyway, okay? But you've just got to track the prices for you, all right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the PlanXpress import for rapid takeoff. Click that one there. I'm going to select the job that I'm going to be doing, so that's going to be the evening demonstration. A little image is going to come up in the top right-hand corner. It looks like a bit of a Finnish flag, to be fair, but that's the plan that I was working off of. And what I can do is I can actually start filling in this information. So I can go evening demo. Job description is going to be an extension. If I start typing in extension, it's going to pre-populate for me. To be honest with you, I can type in Trump's wall. It will still come up, but I'm not going to be estimating for that. All right. Job number is going to be job number 36 because it's going to follow Excel. Price book is going to be the master price book. PlanXpress import, exactly. The chart type, you've got a start date and a chart type. All right, unless you're clairvoyant, you're never going to know when the job's going to start, so you can leave that as a standard. Then the chart type itself, what I can do is I can select that there and I can go to small extension. Difference between small extension and large extension, you're just looking at a second story. That's all. All right, large extension is going to allow for multiple stories. Customer address and site address, what I can do is I can name this as Mr. and Mrs. Reed. Okay, I'm going to stick them on 123 Fleet Street. Stick them in London, and then N11NN. Okay, copy details to the site address, click update, and it's going to go to the site address as well. Now, what we do is we offer training and specifications, but a brief overview of what it is are your default materials. What you can do is if you get a particularly good discount with a brand of any particular material, what you can do is you can set that as your default so you don't have to worry about changing it later on. Because what we know that any builder that looks at a site, it's probably got in his knowledge of how much a job is going to cost, okay? Because you've been working on sites for 20, 30, 40 years, some of you, okay? So you understand how costs work, all right? However, the excruciating time take of actually estimating for a job, well, once you're happy with that, is actually getting all your material information together, okay? This software actually compacts that down. This is where the software actually saves you time. Don't worry about learning the software and how to actually use a calculator, because the software is going to do all your materials in the background for you. The long time that you're going to take is at the very beginning, just learning how the processes work. Because once you get that sorted, the time that it takes you to take all your estimates and put all your materials together now is actually going to be done at a click of a finger. Okay, and you're going to see that soon. All right. So I'm just going to go to the extension, use the extension specification. External wall brickwork is going to ask me for the cost of brick I'm going to be using from the very beginning, so it can give me an accurate cost from the very beginning. Okay, so I'm just going to go 70 pence brick. Roof tiling, plain tile, a pan tile, or a slate, depending on what you're going to be working with. Roof guttering, plastic, cast iron, aluminium, zinc, still, we've got all of them in there, depending on the aesthetic you're going to be working with. As I said earlier on, the software is going to ask you whether you're going to be using UPVC, fascia barge boards and soffits, or softwood. Okay, so I'm going to be using UPVC. Decoration, I always leave that same as specification because every job is going to allow you to actually say yes or no to a decoration. Okay, it's just saying whether you want to or not. Okay, then last but not least, the plant and labor for the excavation. Okay, not every job is going to allow you to get a mini digger or JCB in the garden. Okay, sometimes it's going to be a gentleman with a shovel and a can go and a bad attitude. Okay, so sometimes you're going to have to pick that. Once you're happy with that, you can click Create Estimate, and what the software is going to do is then actually import that job into EstimatorXpress. Okay, and then it's going to give you a live cost in front of you as well. All right, so once that's actually importing, does anybody have any questions? Okay, so once that's actually imported, the job's coming out at the moment is 22,673. That is excluding VAT and profit at the moment. All right, if I click OK, what this is telling me is just asking me to confirm my cavity closures. All right, so we get a review my lintels as well. Okay, so if I click yes, I can just confirm that my cavity width is going to be between 90 and 100 mil. If I click OK, it's going to try and recalculate it, but there shouldn't be any real change to the cost. So no, you've got 22,673. All right, and then you've got the imported costs on the left-hand side. You can add in any additional costs as well. So you've got your provisional sums at the top here. So you can just add provisional sum, add a build phase, add a cost. Okay, so if you're going to be working with provisional sums, you can do that nice and fast. Any assumptions and omissions, okay? If you don't want that client coming back to you and saying, where's the ceramic dolphin that's meant to be on top of the garage? That's what we paid for. Because what if you write it in here, it's going to state it on the quote for you automatically, all right? The client's not going to have a demand if you've already agreed it and they've signed it off. All right, running quick quote, all right, is going to allow you to start looking at any additional templates you may want to use. So these are some of the templates you're going to be able to use in the software. So as you can see, we've got quite a few of them in there, and you can estimate off of any of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select customized build because I want to add in some subcontract costs. Okay, I want to add in as well some prelims and sundries. Okay, so I can add in the prelims. I can do some roof windows if I want to, because that links it directly into Velux. Okay, I can do subcontract quotations. I can add in other things as well if I wanted to. All right, once I click OK, I'm going to have a page that looks like this. Under subcontracts, I can just add in scaffolding contractors. Okay, your electrical contractors as well. I'm going to add in the electrical contractor twice. So I can then say first fix and second fix. And I'm going to do the same for the plumbing as well. Okay, and then I'm also going to pop in a kitchen fitting contractor in there as well, so the client knows that we're going to be costing for that as well. So I can go first one, erection of scaffolding, electrical first fix, electrical second fix, plumbing first fix, plumbing second fix, internal fitting out. And then you can just add costs. It's nice and fast, nice and easy. So I can then do that. We all know that electricians and plumbers, they always earn as much money as they can. Every other tradesman's a little bit jealous. Okay. Do that there. And then kitchen fitting contract at £1,200 in there. Click completed. And then we can go into the prelims and sundries. I do have a question. So if I just go over to this second, does your program have metal stud walls and my ceilings? The software does allow for metal stud walls, metal stud partitioning. Absolutely. Okay, we did that actually on the import. If you can see where my mouse is in the bottom left-hand corner at the moment, we've done a PlanXpress import for the metal stud partition. All right, so the software does cover that, Paul. Absolutely. Okay. Going from there, we've then got our prelims and sundries. We can start looking at roofing sundries if we have any of those. Site establishment, sundry plant as well, if we want to add in any additional cost for plant that we could be using. Okay, but if I go to site establishment, all right, I can click that there. I can then also say we're going to be site establishment for a small extension. We've got small extension using customer toilet as well, depending on which one you're going to want to be using. Okay, If I select that one there, the software's going to then allow me a cost for a site cabin, cost for a toilet, okay, for how many weeks I'm going to need it, security fencing, whether I'm going to be needing a JCB to clear the site, but I've already said that I'm going to be using a man with a shovel, so it's not going to worry about that. How many skips I want for the site clearance, just to make sure that everything's okay. We're going to get one skip in there. We can select how much of the site compound that we want to remove. We've then got the skip permit for the month, just in case we can't get a JCB on site or a skip on site, we can pay for the permits as well. We've then got our insurance costs, site security costs, health and safety costs, and traffic regulation costs that you could incur. But once I'm happy with that, I can click finish, I can go to completed, I can then click create quick quote. All right, it's going to add an additional £6,500. I can click OK. All right, and then we've got that there. So we've gone up to about 29,000 now. If I want to change any materials, all I've got to do is start going into the build, the workbooks that I've actually estimated for. All right, so if I go on the left-hand side here, I can find my brick and block cavity wall. If I double click that, then what's going to open up are our workbooks. Okay. We can go to the external walls. And what the software is going to allow us to do now is see the dimensions. And remember, I drew 4 walls, 4 large brick and block cavity walls, but I set one as non-estimated. Software is going to confirm that now. Okay, so as you can see, I've not got that 4th wall that I drew. And then we've got the calculated resources. So what the software is going to do is show us all the resources that we're actually using within this brick and block cavity wall. And as you can see, the software is calculating for everything. So you've got your insulation joining tape, if it's needed or not, brick ties, your cut clasp nails, as well, your fixings to the skirting. All right, your bricks above and below DPC, less openings. And if I want to change a brick, all I've got to do, so if I've got bricks above DPC, less openings, I've got my 70p brick. All I've got to do is just right click and go change resource. And then what I can do is I can start selecting a relevant brick. If I change that up to a £1.10 brick, okay, and click select resource at the top of the screen, the software is going to ask me how many bricks I use per square meter, and that's how the software is going to calculate it. And that cost in the top right hand corner there, that £8,893, should go up because it's live update, and there's 9,713. All right. MF ceilings. So the software does calculate for all your different types of ceilings as well, absolutely. If you are going to be doing any architects to it as well, and any plastering changes that you could be doing to it, absolutely. All right, so the software does calculate for that, and that's when you start going through the materials here as well, making sure that it is the right material in your roof as well. In your ceiling, terribly sorry, Paul. All right. Once you're happy with this, you can click Close Workbook. The software is going to say, is this workbook now complete? Yes, it is. And then what it's going to do is just going to say completed here, almost like it's a checklist for you. All right. Going from here, you can then start looking at the charts, see how long the job is going to take. All right. Now, you're going to see this chart. I've not estimated for everything on this chart. All right. Okay, so you do have design phase, planning, application, building regulation. Okay. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to remove any unused build phases. So it's going to remove these things for me. And this is what my chart's going to look like. All right. I can then, under edit bar charts, give the job a start date. So I can say the job's actually going to be starting on May the 20th. And then I can drag all that back to the beginning by just going and changing the first one from commencement. I can click cascade and refresh. So we can start seeing our chart there. We can see how this job's going to look. The break in the middle here is from our plastering to our electrical second fix, because it's allowing the plastering to dry, but you can move that if you want to. All right. Then last but not least, the report. So you can start seeing your quote as well. All right. So you can start seeing your profit on the job. Okay. How you're going to order your materials, the cost summary reports as well. All right. So if I just remove any unused zeros at the moment, just get rid of them right now. What I can do is I can go down the left-hand side and start finding the report I want. So on the profit forecast, I'll be able to see how much money I'm going to be making in the course of the job. Terribly sorry about that flash thing. Just saw a picture of me and the wife. All right, we look very happy. It's not all the time. And you're going to see over the course of this job that we are going to be making about £9,000 on this job. All right. Closing that report, what we're also going to be able to see, and what a lot of developers like to see, is a cost summary report as well. All right, to see exactly what you're going to be spending your money on over the course of this job. All right, and again, terribly sorry. All right, so once we go here, we can see exactly how much money we're going to be spending on labor. All right, how much we're going to be spending on our materials, how much we're going to be spending on our plant, our subcontractors, and our sundry costs as well, so insurances and that. The good thing about this is what you'll be able to see over 12 months, and with you doing jobs all the time within this software, is that you can collaborate a year's worth of jobs, or 2 years, 3 years, 5 years of these reports and put them all into one section. All right. So what you're going to be able to see is how much money you're going to be spending on your laborers, your subcontractors, your insurances, all the way over the course of a year. All right. If I close that report, we're then going to be able to start seeing your materials used and your material order schedule. I've got another question. So terribly sorry, 1 second. Is that your program of works? Yes, the chart is like a program of works, absolutely. Okay. Not something like the a QS would give you per se. All right. So you're not your 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4 2 1 2 2. All right. But what the software is going to do is tell you, okay, this is how the job's going to have to go over the course of these months. All right. So it's got that as well. All right, I hope that helps, Paul. But then the software does break it down into a lot more information for you as well. So first off, materials used. So as I said, the longest part of your job that you'll see, all right, that's taking at the moment is getting all your materials together. Now what the software's done is under that brick shell has told you, okay, with the brick shell, this is all the materials that you need for that brick shell. This is how much they cost. This is how you buy them in, whether it's going to be a meter square each, what the quantity required is, what the wastage is, what the order quantity is going to have to be, okay? So it's calculating your wastage as well. It's got your item cost, wastage costs, and total costs. The reason why you've got 11.38 bags of cement is because we're allowing you to round up or round down. We used to round up all the time, but it used to do that for every material. And a lot of builders went, that's actually making our costs quite high. And then we used to round down, and then a lot of builders told us that, okay, then the problem is with that is that we might not be able to do it in 2 rolls. We might need a 3rd roll to have to buy it to do the entire job. So it's, again, we've just left it with you with the power. All right. Ordering your materials as well. You can drag in the product code from the drop-down list, okay, and you can start seeing that these are all your materials and all their product codes. So you can cut this all up. You can send it to your merchants, and you can say, okay, I need these materials on site on this particular date. All right. Close that report. You can start seeing the material order schedule. Okay, so if you're going to have a job that's going to be starting on May 20th, all right, I know that the material order schedule, I have to start ordering my materials, all right, on the, here we go, the 9th of April. Okay, that's when I have to start ordering my materials for my footings to make sure that everything's going to be on site. All right, so the software's going to do that for you as well. Last but not least, you've got the quote that you're going to be handing over to your client. All right. So I can go up to the top here. I can go to the customer quotes, quote wizard by build phase. All right. I can do that for you. It's going to build up the customer quote for me. And then what you're going to be able to see is that we've got a heading, a brief description, an image of what's going to be shown as a footing, materials, costs, and then we can start changing as much or as little as we want to put in there. So we can show all resources, key resources, no resources. We can take out the phase totals, we can take out the pictures. All right, but for the benefit of this demonstration, I'm going to show these costs. Okay, we can start adding in assumptions and omissions here as well. We can also add in, under the More's tab, we can go to our preferences, and we can change our opening paragraph, closing paragraph. We can start adding in company logos, any affiliations, headers, footers, anything we want to do. Under resources and quote, if your client says they want a labor only quote, you can do that as well. All right, you can take out all material, plant, and subcontractor costs. Click print, it's going to charge a 20% VAT. You can click OK. The reason why it charges that 20% and you can change it is because that way then if you're going to be working with new builds, you can change all that up for yourself as well. All right, and the software, depending on the size of the quote, we'll take you and start writing up your quote for you. But again, this is a time that's going to be saved for yourself as well. All right. Whilst he's writing up that final cost, do you have any questions? Okay, and this is going to be your quote there. I'm just going to answer a question before I do this. If you have any questions going through the quote, that's where we're on the phone. So what we do is we offer unlimited telephone support. Okay, so you can call us up as much as you like, creating the quote, running through the program as well. It's not a problem. We're more than happy to help you out. Okay, Russell? And when it to you as well, Paul. Okay. Essentially, yeah, okay, the software does look like a lot to learn from the very beginning, but it's going to be doing a lot of work for you as well. And just like you were doing your first estimate, okay, you're probably thinking, okay, this is a lot to take on, but now you can do estimates competently. All right, now you're just trying to speed that up, and that's why we're here. But like I said, if you're going to be running through these programs, just send the plans over to us. We can set you up with the construction lines. If you're working through any jobs as well, what we can do is we can build them up side by side, and we can run through these jobs with you. That's why we're here as a business. All right. We understand that it's a little bit alien to you at the moment, but that's not a problem. That's something that we're here to help you with. Okay. You're not in that boat alone. We understand that as a builder, okay, your background isn't computers. Okay. You're in the trade, you're a tradesman. But taking this step and where the world's going at the moment as well, everything's going to be run by computers sooner or later. Okay. It's getting in there and making sure that the software works for you. This is a software that's built for builders. It's not meant to be completely scary. It's not meant to be difficult. Okay, you're not looking at the matrix here. You're looking at something that's going to definitely be your friend when you're confident in using it. All right, but that's why we're here. That's why we help you. Okay. And then your final quote looks like this. So you're going to have a header, your footer, your introduction to Mr. and Mrs. Reed of 123 Fleet Street in London. You have your introductory statement that you can sign off, and then your quote goes in the chronological order of how the build's going to go. All right. So commencement, site setup, foundations, footings, oversight and slabbing, brickwork shell to the roof structure, erecting the scaffolding as well, structural openings, roof tiling, electrical first fix, joinery first fix, plumbing first fix, plastering. Then you go on to your second fixes. And then going through right the way to the end, you'll have your completion, your total cost, excluding VAT, what the VAT's going to be, what the total cost including VAT's going to be. So you're looking at $52,000 for this job at the moment. And then you're going to have 2 acceptance of estimate and variation sheets, both for you and your client to sign. That way then nobody can start saying that, okay, then you said one thing and you're doing another. And you can tell them that seems they've signed this and this is a payment, okay, and this is their signature, okay, that they need to pay you, or you can take them to court because you have the signature on a document as well, which is what you want. This is why you don't. There's always shows about cowboy builders, but there's never a show about cowboy clients, and you know them when you see them. All right, and your terms and conditions at the very end. And that, everyone, is take off an estimate kit. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Brilliant, Paul. I'm glad you like the software. I'm glad all of you have actually stayed, asked your questions. We are here as much as you need. Okay, I am always on email link as well. So essentially, I'm always going to be monitoring my emails for the guys who are actually running the software as well. We don't make you buy it and leave you alone. All right. Absolutely, I can show you the stage payment option, Russell. Not a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the stage payments up at the top here, and we've got a stage payment calculator. Okay. All right. So with that there, we get to say whether you're going to have your start or end of build phases, or you can do it at regular intervals. It's entirely up to you. All right. You can add in your sales price inflation, and then you've also got charge VAT on the payments as well. All right. If I click print, the software is then going to provide me my stage payment option as well. Okay. And if I do that, it's going to load up. There we go. And then it's going to show me that we've got these options of being able to pay excluding and including VAT for commencement, site setup and foundations. It's got build phases, partially and entirely included, all the way through to payment on completion of deficits through liability period. All right. Brilliant. Does anybody else have any other questions? Brilliant. I look forward to hearing from you, Russell. Okay. Well, thank you ever so much today, everyone. I hope you have a very good evening. All right. I'm going to leave you now. But if you do have any questions, brilliant, Paul. Yes, please get in contact. I'd be more than happy to help and answer any of your questions. All right. But thank you again. I hope you have a very good evening. My name is Matthew. If you have any questions, please get in contact. We'll be more than happy to help. And again, thank you for your evening.